Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Harry's here with a video about first-person shooters. Now, I just went and did some reviews, not did reviews, but watched reviews of the new Call of Duty Ghost and the new Battlefield 4, and I'm going to say it from my own opinion for first-person shooters. It's turned me off. Now, for some of you out there, you could say, oh yeah, it's the greatest game since sliced bread. Yeah, Problem is I get more enjoyment watching a movie like Red Dead Redemption, where it's a third-person shooter, where they show the body, you know, and you have your revolver, and you're running around doing Old West things, and then seeing person in first person with a battle rifle or a handgun mowing down people, and it's just pure carnage. I mean, back in the day, I could load up Halo, as I said in a previous video on Living Simply and Fun, play Halo with no trouble because it was just a game that says, oh yes, it's fake. But nowadays, they're making it more and more realistic, except for capture the flag and blowing the crap out of everything. They're making it more and more realistic, and they're trying to say war is great. When frankly, I think I know why I'm disgusted with these first-person shooters. I was thinking about it after watching it, and I'll tell you why. I got a couple videos to watch tonight, probably over a beer or two. But here's the kicker. Back in the old days, you had things to do. For example, Call of Duty 3, you can't see the people. They're, you know, or, you know, you have great storyline, you know, etc., but the game sucks. While you're walking around with a rifle in your hand. And that's it. Oh, Germans. Sorry, you don't go and pick off Germans. Yeah, you guys want to make the game pick off Germans, fine. Pick off Koreans, fine. But not fine in my heart. Because it tells students and kids nowadays to go buy a weapon and, oh yeah, owning a gun's great. Right. Owning a gun isn't great. It's a tool. Tool that was used for battle, but it also was used in self-defense. Now, back in the old days, everyone had a six-shooter. It was on them. Some knew how to use it better than others. So I think, in my opinion, the reason I like certain games, like role-playing games, like Animal Crossing, and, oh, that's not a role-playing. In my opinion, it is because you're actually building a house, and you're working, and you're getting money, and you're fishing, and you're doing stuff. That is a role-playing game. Oh, well, I want... Silence. Here's another one. Games like Mario Kart. Those ones are good racing. You got an objective. Win the game, get the gold cups, etc. Some of me and Aaron's favorite games, like Baldur's Gate, Dark Alliance, or Dark Alliance 2. You can say, oh, those games suck. Maybe, but I'll tell you why I like Dark Alliance and Dark Alliance 2. It's not just a dungeon crawling RPG action adventure where you get your weapons, you can upgrade it. There's a lot of different weapons you used to do it. I used to make my own weapons in the game with Aaron's help, and we maxed it out. He'd have one type of weapons, I'd be equipped with another one. I was like, oh, I want to be an archer. I had every type of bow. Well, let's see, this one, these enemies are good with these ones aren't. I always rotated the bow. Those are the type of weapons in the games that I like. Not, oh, well, I want to run around a first-person shooter going blah, 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 blah. No. The bottom line is, guns are tools, and I think that even if you owned every freaking first-person shooter, and you played them all. Back in the day when Fiona and I was around, my first wife, we used to enjoy ourselves going around, and it was like, oh yeah, but Call of Duty and Battlefield and stuff like that, you know, Hexen, Quake, Blood. Blood was a first-person shooter. You walked around, but Blood was fake. Back then, you got a guy comes out of the dead. He's like, I live again. You know, Khalib, or you choose and you use a cheat, and you have the other girl that says, play with me, play with me. Those were games back then. You knew they were games. You got to chuckle at them. Leisure Suit Larry was a good role-playing, funny game, you know. But nowadays, you got these games getting more and more realistic. Black, for example. Oh yeah, the game was kind of hard, but you're walking around. It's like pick up Mac 10, pick up Uzi, pick up silencer or silenced pistol. Excuse me. Yeah, and the game wasn't bad, but they put in brand name guns, Glocks, XDs, for example, Uzis by Israel, Mac 10s, you know, SMGs or for submachine guns, or some call them pistol machines or machine pistols. Guess what? I think comes to first-person shooters, you got to have a goal in the game. Me, when I go into Elder Scrolls 4, I got a goal. Be the best at stealth, be the best as an assassin sneak, and be the best at doing things. Like, if I want to complete missions, I'll go through, say, this area, complete all the factions, and then go into Shivering Isle, complete everything Shivering Isle. Then go and finish up and do the main quest. When the game's in, what do you do then? Nothing. Then you can reload, play a new game, new character, and do the same thing. Or you can be like, oh, I want to try Skyrim again. Go to Skyrim. New character, new everything, do the same thing. Oh, well, maybe I'll change this and do this. Game is always different because you can choose female or male. You can be orc. You can be a Nord. You can be a bomber. You can be, you know, whatever. You know, Bosner, I mean. Point is, you can do all these things, and you can be like Elder Scrolls 5. I'm going to be a smithy. Bam, bam, bam. Whereas, first-person shooter, oh yeah, I upgraded my weapon. I got super self-assassin sniper rifle. Right, No. First-person shooters. When I started out, and I'm going to talk about the RPG element for a minute. You don't put RPG elements in a first-person shooter for leveling your character. Here's what I think. When you're playing a game, you need to have the game. RPG elements should stay with RPGs. You don't sit there, and I watched some videos last night that said they had RPG elements in fighting games where you're on a side-scroller beating the crap out of things and you keep going. Whereas Left 4 Dead 3, I believe it is, the one that Aaron saw, he wants it because it's zombie killing, by the way. Aaron knows it's a game. He just thinks it'd be cool trying to mow down. And by the way, Aaron, did you see that one guy talking in that report where he said it after the end of the day he mowed down like 24,000 zombies?
Yeah.
24,000. How can, and it's all connected into the database. So the bottom line is RPGs, you got a lot of elements. You could sit there and say, oh, I'm working on this section because I want to get the best at this section. Or you could sit there and say, oh, well, I'm going to do this because I have a goal. Look at me, for example. Final Fantasy IV. I could go straight to the end of the game right now, but why don't I? Because I want the limited edition, items. Like, you go in an area and you could sit there and you could be 2 hours for the game. Let's just say you have allocated 2 hours for it. You're playing it. All of a sudden you're sitting there and you're like, oh yeah, this is a great game. Or you could sit there and say, this game sucks. Well, Final Fantasy IV, my motto is beef up the characters before moving on in a lot of areas. Like, for example, sometimes on Mount Ordeal, I'll level up my my twins, basically to level 50 to 60. Then when they go up against the first enemy, the Earth Elemental, Earth, you know, Mylon, or Mylon Z, for example, as some call it, in the original. What happens? You sit there, you tweak it, you beef it, you barbecue it, you use spells like Flare, Meteor, wipe it out. You get into the next area, and you got to go underground to the castle, the underwater way. What do? You can sit there and say, oh, I got enough. Or you can sit there and say, I don't have the spell Lightning 3 or Thundaga. I'll go and get Thundaga and go roast the next one. You know, oh, by the way, the guy's name's Scarmalone, if anyone needs to know, for, you know, the new one for DS and iPad and Android. But maybe you want to go up against someone else, like the Fiend of Water, Kagnazu. Guess what? Couple Thundagas. You use the old man Tella. You use your twin. Barbecue him. He's done. Next area. Oh yes, you got to do this. You got a new character, but now you got to go explore the world and blah blah blah. The thing is the game is more open to that type of thing, and leveling up and getting stuff and saying, oh, well, I haven't done this, let's try working on this for a while. Oh, I want to work on that. And you do it, whereas, you know, and you accumulate money also in the game. Whereas nowadays, you know, people are like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to go do this and that, you know, and etc. Well, think of it this way. When you're playing a game like Elder Scrolls V, there are money bags laying around. You can pick up coin purses, but in Elder Scrolls 4, you have to sell items mostly to get money. You don't see money here and money there. It's like, oh, no. You know, there is a few coins here and there, but mostly it's find items and sell it. So, I think when it comes to first-person shooters, in my opinion, you're not actually role-playing. You're in a frag fest, and sometimes it develops the mentality that says a gun's cool and you can use a gun for everything. And frankly, the gun's a tool, in my opinion. Therefore, in my humble opinion, you're not really building or creating things from characters. I mean, heck, you have pre-made characters in Final Fantasy IV, but still have the option to tweak them the way you want, so you can go up against bosses. Say your twins are almost ready to go away permanently. Guess what? All you need is, if you want to beef them up properly, you can be level 50 by the time you get done. Some say, oh, well, you need to be level 50 or 60. Well, you need to be about 65 to 70 to beat it in the original Final Fantasy IV. Easy for Super NES. Hard was about 75 to 80, so trust me, I'm a Final Fantasy nut. I know these things, but guess what? That's the whole point of playing the game, is leveling your characters, your stats. I mean, heck, some people like sports games, leveling up your stats, you know, and getting better points and etc. Others like first-person shooter, Mall Fest, mow them down. And others like role-playing games, slow, steady, and enjoyable. Action-adventure like the Elder Scrolls. So, my opinion is, if you're not doing something like role-playing, or you're actually building a character, or the stats for the character, or updating the weapons, or getting your skills properly, my opinion is going around in tedious circles, seeing the same type of enemies, mowing them down, blowing up tanks and stuff, just does not sound too appealing, in my opinion, anymore. Back then it did, but nowadays, I want something nice and relaxing like the Elder Scrolls series, or Final Fantasy series, which I have to watch some movies tonight, because I got into it with Aaron on a couple things. So there you have it. So my opinion is, unless you're building something, making something, or doing something creative in a first-person shooter, then it's not my cup of tea anymore. Please add and subscribe if you like. Please post comments in the box if you like. Please add me as a friend if you like. And look for my last video tonight, my video blog. Thank you, and have a nice day. May God bless the world, and may God bless the United States.